Hey there. Okay, so in this video, we're going to talk about advanced protocols, at least one particular advanced protocol, mine. So first thing I'll start by saying is this is not medical advice. This is what I'm doing. And also it's going to sound a little extreme. So I don't expect most people to want to inject themselves this many times. I just have a very particular goal. And so I guess I will tell you all of that. So I'm working out pretty hard. I've lost 50 pounds with tirzepatide. I don't want to be too personal, but love it. Great stuff. Okay. So with that, I had an injury that kept me from being in the gym as much as I wanted to be. I lost more muscle than I wish I had, and I'm also 47 years old. So because of those reasons, the peptides I chose, like I'm just telling you that for what peptides I chose. But I also am a woman who likes to strength train, who likes muscle, who has been competitive and athletic my whole life, really. And so um, I'm going to lift heavy when I'm in the gym. So that is also the part. Like this would be unnecessary for a woman who, or man, anyone who isn't lifting heavy too. So all of that to say, because as you know, when you're making protocols, the main question, the first question you want to ask is, what is the goal? What is the wellness goal? What is the outcome we're looking for? And that's how we're going to decide what are the correct peptides and the timing. So we're going to talk a little bit about timing in this video as well. So I took some notes because it's kind of a lot and I don't want to skip over things. So if you see me looking, like I'm just looking at my notes a little bit. But basically, I'm going to start like at a brand new 12-week protocol. So we're going to start there. We're going to start with a foundation. For that foundation, given the scenario I just described, a woman in her mid to late 40s, muscle loss, weight, post weight loss, going to the gym, working out, and all the concerns that comes with that client. So I am going to start, and is also has injury that is a concern, or chronic injury. I have a really bad low back, so chronic injury that's a concern as well. So I'm starting with a growth hormone releasing hormone, a GHRH. So we have a few of those available. Sermorelin is the most studied, been around the longest. A lot of people will use it. We also have ipamorelin, which works slightly differently than sermorelin, but is super, I want to say mild, but I don't want you to hear the word mild and think that it doesn't work. It's just if you have an elderly person that's really wanting to get started, it's just the one that I would recommend for that person to get started on because the effects that people feel are not as strong. That said, I've also used CJC, which we don't have available from a pharmacy right now, but is one that I've used from a vetted source. I hated it. Some people love it, and it is another GHRH. But the CJC 1295, I didn't like the way I felt on it. I don't know if I won't say I would never use it again, but I don't like using it at night before bed because the effects that I feel want to send me into a panic attack. And I'm not even prone to panic attacks, but I'm just like, am I okay? Am I breathing? Is everything fine? Why do I feel this way? So that's CJC 1295. And then lastly, we have tesamorelin, which is kind of like the muscle GHRH. When I say muscle, I don't mean it in a metabolic way, like because that's what we're talking about. So that was probably a bad metaphor. But I mean like the big, strong growth hormone releasing hormone. So I like tesamorelin also. I actually haven't used it yet, so I can't speak to the effects like I can CJC. But I do know tesamorelin is one that's better to definitely rotate and not be using all the time. Like I'd rather someone on sermorelin mostly, possibly ipamorelin, and rotate tesamorelin in once a twice a year or something, like just as an example. So all of these are going to be good in a rotating protocol. So say 12 weeks on, 4 weeks off, for example. Um, let's see. That said, our bodies secrete growth hormone multiple times a day, HGH. We have probably, I don't know, eight-ish, 10-ish secretions. Like, so it's like this pulsating secretion that we get. So the idea of a growth hormone releasing hormone is you're trying to time it with your body's natural release. So that way you're able to pump out more. Because with them, you'll never release more than you should, but you can help release as much as your body should let release. And that's the difference with ipamorelin. So it's not going to do that same like pump out more, but it's going to be more of a keep your body from blocking what keeps it from working. So it works in a different way, still works along the same pulsating manner as far as the other growth hormone releasing hormones, but that's part of kind of the difference of the mechanism. So that's why a lot of people will combine CJC with ipamorelin because they work hand in hand, not exactly in the exact same manner. Again, that said, I'm not personally going to use CJC, but if someone was, it would be a great option too. All of that said, so I'm trying to talk about timing here. We release the most growth hormone at night. So that's why the best time to use one of the GHRHs is right before you go to bed. Like literally lay down, go to inject, lay down, go to sleep. I can't do that personally. And this comes down to knowing yourself, your clients knowing themselves. Any prescription is going to say use it at bedtime. Yes, that's when you're going to get your biggest bang for your buck is at bedtime. It's hard to say. But when I try to do that, I lay there for an hour and still can't fall asleep. And then I think that my peptide is long gone before my body actually secretes the growth hormone that I was secreting anyways. So how I do it, and I'm not saying this is preferred, because I'm already saying the preferred way is to start with a dose before bed. How I do it is the next best time is first thing in the morning upon waking on an empty stomach before your insulin has been triggered. So basically, as soon as you're awake enough to inject yourself, that's when you would want to do it if you can't do it before bed. So that's actually when I do my growth hormone, my GHRH, as I wake up and I do it immediately, about 20 to 30 minutes. I like to do 30 minutes, but 20 is okay too, before I eat anything. And ideally, really before you drink anything, but I'm really bad about wanting to jump into some caffeine really fast. But of course, caffeine triggers insulin, so I need to work on that. But so all of that to say, the first step of this protocol, that this is obviously going to be a long video, the first step of the protocol is my growth hormone releasing hormone first thing in the morning. And I do that 5 days a week. And again, a lot of times the protocols are based on efficacy and not letting our bodies get used to what we're doing, type things, like as far as the pulsating. Now, that said, because my strength training is pretty strenuous, on my training days, which is 4 days a week right now, I might go to 3, but anyways, right now it's 4 days a week. I do a second dose of my growth hormone releasing hormone post-workout. Two caveats there. You want to make sure you're not sipping anything while you're working out because, again, your insulin has to be low. If you've been sipping flavored amino acids during your workout, it's not going to be helpful. And then also, a lot of people are very adamant about having a protein shake or eating protein pretty quickly after they work out. And again, you would need that 30 minutes. So I do drink only water while I'm working out, do my second injection on training days of my GHRH, and then wait 30 minutes before I refuel with whatever my post-workout meal of choice is. So that is my growth hormone releasing hormone, the first step of our advanced protocol. Now, twice a day is not a problem at all. Occasionally, some people will even do it up to 3 times a day. I mean, financially, that's starting to become an investment, and there's not anything wrong with that. But anyways, so let's see. Now, something else that I take basically daily, a lot of times I'll take off on the weekends, but I could use the BPC 157 daily, is I'll do a low dose of BPC 157. And so when I say low dose, I mean 250 micrograms. Because if you know, you can do anywhere from 250 micrograms to a gram per dose. And so when I'm not hurting, I have a, like I said, I have a chronic injury, but if I'm not flared for any reason, my dose is 250 mics, like I said, basically 5 days a week. Um, if I flare, I will, depending on how bad the flare is, I'll go 250 twice a day. If it's really bad, I might go 500 twice a day just during that very acute time. But my normal dose of BPC 157 is 250 mics a day. Because it really is, we have to remember peptides are about signals, not necessarily about dose. It's not like taking 200 milligrams of ibuprofen versus 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen. Like you have that killer headache, you're going for 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen. Ibuprofen, did I say it right? I don't know. Um, as opposed to just one of the little brown pills that are 200 milligrams, right? Like that's not how peptides work. Peptides work by signaling. So the 250 mics is totally fine for me. Something else I also do use the TB 500 on my upper body days. And you're going to see later the reason why I do it on the days that I lift upper body is because I actually alternate it with another peptide on my lower body days that we'll talk about in just a minute. So that's basically what I I'm doing for weeks 1 through 4 is my growth hormone releasing hormone once a day, and then twice a day on training days, my BPC 157 daily. And then, oh, actually, I skipped my GHKCU. Also, I do my GHKCU with my BPC 157 the 5 days a week. So I have really positive results from GHKCU for not necessarily like my lifting reasons, just as being a 47-year-old woman. And so I refuse to stop using it, even though it's not necessary for this particular activity stack or this very active stack that I'm describing. So someone else could bypass the GHKCU. I choose to keep it in because I've had a lot of success externally. And so I keep it. So right now, weeks 1 through 4, it's the growth hormone releasing hormone once or twice a day, depending on training. It's by BPC 157 mixed. I pull these up in the same syringe, my BPC 157 and my GHKCU. Never your growth hormone releasing hormone and never a GLP-1 pull up with anything else. But I do pull up my BPC and my GHK together and inject that in with one syringe. Um, and then again, like I said, I do my TB 500 just because I'm really starting out. And I won't keep probably the TB 500. It's much more for an acute recovery. And so like I've just been like jumping back into working out after traveling for 2 months and being out of the country and not being consistent and really not hardly lifting at all. And pre that, I actually had the acute back injury. So I hadn't lifted in several months. So jumping back in, doing my TB 500 on my upper body days. And that's because starting weeks, basically the end of week 4, so 5, 6, 7, and 8, the second month, I am adding MOTS-c to my stack. So MOTS-c is very good for nutrition partitioning, in my mind, I look at it as getting the glucose into the muscles when I lift. So I take it fasted pre-work. So it's obviously pre-workout. I take it fasted and I take it on my leg days. And so some people will use MOTS-c 5 days a week, 2 days off. I prefer to use a larger dose only on my leg days, not a smaller dose 5 days a week. So again, this is a little bit about what's making it a little more advanced is the amount that I'm using, either between 2.5 milligrams twice a week. So I'm getting 4 to 5 milligrams a week as opposed to spreading that 4 to 5 milligrams out over 5 days. And dosing on MOTS-c is kind of like it's all new and emerging. Like everything we do is new and emerging in peptides, which is what's awesome about it and not in a scary way to me. But so I'm filming this video right now and it's almost May. And so it could change. And if it does, then I will change what I do and I will remember to record a new video. So that way, the science has changed. Let's see here. So, like I said, during that week now, second month, I'm doing 2 to 2.5 milligrams MOTS-c on leg days fasted. So that's when I am alternating MOTS-c on MOTS-c on lower body days and TB 500 on upper body days. Because I basically do 2 days upper body and 2 days lower body. Now, granted, that said, if I wanted to switch to 3 days lower body, excuse me, and 1 day upper body, because I'm a woman, um, I would still probably do 2 days and 2 days. And it's just one of my lower body days, I would just do the TB 500 and it would be fine. Um, let's see. I don't think phase 3, like my last 4 weeks, if anything, I'll be adding in another growth hormone, releasing hormone, depending on how I'm doing. I mean, it is a little bit uh I mean, you see how things go. You see the response. Like that's the whole point of the protocols, right? Like you know what your goal is, you create a protocol to that goal and you monitor, you reassess, and then you can update. And so this is like a live look at what I'm doing. So I have to say right now, I have phase 1 and phase 2 pinned down. And phase 3, I will see. I'll probably, if anything, maybe take off the TB, maybe reduce BPC from daily to 5 days a week. Granted, I'm still only really doing it 5 days a week. I enjoy the 2 days off on the weekend without peptides. My abdomen appreciates the 2 days off on the weekends without peptides. So even though I say I might do it daily, I probably have never done it 7 days, like daily. Just being honest. But if anything, phase 3, if injuries stay great, my back's not flared, knock on wood, then I can maybe decrease that. But yeah, I mean, it really follows the formula that I'm always telling people, right? Like phase 1 is that stability and the foundation. Phase 2 is full stimulus, really working on recomposition. That's my goal is body recomposition during these 3 phases, this 12 weeks. And then phase 3 would be more of refinement and starting to see more visible results. So like I said, that's what I may pull in another growth hormone, releasing hormone, either alternating or pairing ipamorelin with one of the other ones that work in the other way, be complementary. I think that's it. So it's not quite as long of a video. I went off on a tangent about growth hormone, releasing hormones more than I did about the other peptides. But if you have any other questions, be sure and reach out to me. I'm babbling a little bit to see if there was anything else that I wanted to say. But if you have a person that you would love to see a advanced protocol on, let me know, like a client type, because I gave you really a pretty common one, mid to late 40s woman, post weight loss, looking to put on, reshape, recomposition, adding muscle. Like that's a pretty common client avatar, I think. I will say the one caveat that I didn't talk about in all this is I'm still on tirzepatide. I actually have kind of started coming down in dose. But so that is a once weekly, as you know, injection. And so I still am using tirzepatide. I love it. I'm not sure if I'll come off or not. It has been a little harder as I've bumped my calories up doing this recomposition and lifting so much. I did purposely bump my calories up. It's getting harder to eat the protein that I need. So that's why I started bringing my tirzepatide down, because I wanted to make sure and get the protein grams in that I'm working on every day. I'm having to drink a little more protein shakes to get liquid protein in, because there's only so much chicken or turkey that I can eat on the tirzepatide. So that's something, again, peptides and things where they're a little fluid, right? Like that's the art of it. That's the fun of creating protocols, advanced protocols at that. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful and you enjoyed it, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts.